Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Enlightened World Network. I'm Jeryl Anne Peterson-Heatherdale, and I am so honored to be a co-host with Deb tonight for Deb Goldberg in her show, Divine Relationship Recovery. I've watched Deb's show, I've had her on my show, and I just absolutely love this how we can get back in touch with the divine aspect of ourselves and with others in our relationships. But before we do that, I'd like to just share with you a few things, some of the upcoming programming and the regular programming that we have here on Enlightened World Network and now EWN Enlightened Living. There are not one, but two ways to become enlightened and lift your spirits and pick up your day. So first thing in the morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, please join Terry Angel and myself for coffee and conversation. And at the end of that hour, Terry does the most beautiful meditations, guided meditations, and prayers. We lift everyone up in prayer, we take prayer requests, and it's just a beautiful community of souls that get together every morning. We're still in our PJs over coffee and just have the most wonderful conversations. And following that, we've got the core connection with Mira Rubin. She shares her musings about life, its meaning, and its purpose. She's quite remarkable. I think you'll really enjoy her if you haven't caught her already. And then at 9:30, please join Diane Allison Beiersdorf. Come to the playground. She is an amazing, amazing soul who helps you to bring out your inner child. And she does meditations, she does healings. It's just so much fun. I tell you what, little Jeryl Anne and I, we love it. And in fact, she gets kind of mad at me when we miss a day. So please join us at Come to the Playground at 9:30. Tomorrow morning, also, please join Deb again and Dr. Lynetta Wilson. They'll be on Angel Heart Radio on Enlightened World Network. And then, of course, every day anywhere between 11 and 3 are daily meditations from all sorts of people. And they're just amazing. On Thursday, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, join Terry Angel on Gratitude Happy Hours, Thankful Thursday, followed at 7 p.m. with our very own Diane Beiersdorfer again with Forever After on Enlightened, EWN Enlightened Living. We have daily programming and we have weekly programming. And on Saturday night, if you feel so inclined, join me at 8 p.m. Eastern on Rising Up with Jeryl Anne. I bring you a variety of guests. Deb has been on, and she's promised to come back on again. And then on Sundays at 7:30 p.m., two of my favorite people, Jane and Philip Mountrose, have Soulful Living. And it is remarkable. They have beautiful guests, and it's just a wonderful show. And these are just a few of the many, many programs on EWN, Enlightened World Network, and EWN, Enlightened Living. And if you'd like to know every day what the programming is, go to those two pages, and there will be a whole list of all of the day's programming. If you're feeling down, or even if you're not, there is something for everyone there. I am so happy to be a part of the EWN family. And so please come join us, check us out. There's just so much going on. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Deb. I am so excited about today's conversation. I just can't wait. You teased me with it earlier. So I know you'll deliver.
Thank you so much, Jeryl Anne. I'm so happy to have you here with me. And I thought, wow, this is pretty amazing. This is the way God works. Divine love is always guiding us and acting in our life.
Uh-huh.
And our show today is called Gracefully Letting Go with the Power of Love, for in the light we trust and faith. We have faith and trust. And it is just so beautiful because when I was on Jeryl Anne's show last Saturday, towards the end, we were talking about what do you do when like everything's just feels out of whack for you, out of balance, and you have so many things happening inside of you, and it's really at times it feels very overwhelming energetically. And so, although I do meditation all the time and I have been taught balancing exercises for myself, there are moments I said to Jeryl Anne that I just need to go sit in God's lap and be nurtured and be loved because whatever I'm doing at the moment may not be working. And that's what I need. I need to get filled up. And so it was so ironic that for 5 days, God said to me 5 days ago, I want you to sit with me in the morning in meditation, which I do anyway, but He had something to share with me. And each day He gave me another word, and He talked about each word. So that these 5 steps that the what I read as the title of the show, it is the words that He gave me. So the first day, it was about grace. The second day, it was about letting go. The third day, it was the power of love. The fourth day, it was about in the light. And the fifth day was about having trust and faith. And then I realized as I was going along each day that it actually strung together as a tool for us to use. This is, so the lesson was for me of what He wants me to work on, but I know that it's for everybody because we are all, most of us are in the same place in our spiritual growth, and we're all dealing with the same things. So I thought, oh, this is amazing. And I'm like, this is just a continuation. It's almost like you said, what do we do? And He's answering the question.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's so beautiful. So I have for each word that He gave me each day, He also dictated some information about it. So I'm going to take, like I did last week, I'm going to take each paragraph and then I'll read it and then we can talk about it.
Oh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so the first day, and I think it's really important to look at this. This is a tool or rule of thumb. It's really a bridge to be built within ourselves of accepting and allowing our full self experience. So the 5 terms are stepping stones that can be embraced in our daily walk to combat frustration as our journey keeps unfolding. So the first day I said was grace. And He said, we start by bringing grace to ourselves. This means that you no longer judge or get frustrated with yourself, that you just keep bringing grace and love inward. We want to feel grace in all moments of vulnerability, meaning feeling vulnerable to ego consciousness, and you know how exhausting that can be. Grace for all the habits that you don't care for about yourself. Grace for all the aspects of yourself and others. This does not mean that you don't have a range of feelings. It means you bring grace to all of them. Eventually, as you have more grace for yourself, you will have more grace for others. Grace will serve you more than anything else at times as you keep interacting with others in the world. And this was really amazing. He said, grace is another form of forgiveness, non-judgment, and acceptance with love. By practicing grace now, it will be there for you at times of unrest when they actually occur. So he's asking to be practicing grace for ourselves now.
I love that. That is amazing. In fact, as you were reading that, in my mind, right before you said it, I love how God works, was, so does grace translate into forgiveness?
Mm-hmm.
I love that, Deb.
I know. And that's what I thought. So this really deepens the meaning. Well, grace is not just something you have. It's or do, like it is having it inside of you, and it's like a blessing to yourself. It's giving you grace, like God gives us grace.
Right. And we, I grew up in a very Christian environment. I walked away from that. I'm not judging anything, but I came into my own spirituality. And I think oftentimes, when we're on these spiritual paths, we hold ourselves so harshly accountable because we think, okay, because we are enlightened or conscious or whatever, that we get really down on ourselves. And I love this because one of the things that I have learned to hear over, that's really been embedded in the last year or more actually, is about forgiveness. And when I saw that, when you sent me the show title, and it was about grace, and we need self-forgiveness, self-love, self-grace, if you will, now more than ever, because with all this happened, we're really seeing ourselves in a much deeper way. And I think that I love that because it reinforces how gentle and kind and forgiving we need to be towards ourselves. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. This was such a great reminder for me too, because I get these things taught to me a lot, but then they start to get deeper, and it's more of an expansive view, and looking at grace as forgiveness, non-judgment, and what it's creating is a bridge inside of us. All of the words that we have strung together tonight, it is a bridge to create harmony inside of ourselves, because ultimately that's what it is learning how to create a harmonious environment inside, especially when we have all these different aspects of ourself vying for control, or the energy is all over the place. It's pulling on you in so many different ways. So grace is just and it's sometimes it's easier to have grace for other people than it is for ourselves.
Yes.
And so we're in a process of ascension right now. And that means a lot of things are coming up to the surface to be healed. And our awareness is more acute. And so we're seeing things. And as we're seeing things, we want to bring grace to ourselves with the confusion, with the frustration of this is the incarnation of stopping believing the ego experience. That's what we're doing, is like you're having all of this stuff come up because we have to get rid of the old patterns of belief and the ego consciousness of not falling into it anymore. And so at times, for myself, I would be like, oh my God, here it comes again. And so I've got much better using love and grace, but it's not consistent. And so I want it to just stop. I'm just like, okay, like, can't you just make it stop, God? Like, I don't want to
know this.
It's like, do I really need to listen to this? And it's really becoming the master of your internal world, so that you can understand what you're hearing or feeling that that you need to bring love to constantly, and that part of that is bringing grace. So what a beautiful tool of of it's learning, yes, how to be more gentle with ourselves and not getting so frustrated with the process of undoing the faulty self.
I couldn't agree more. And that is really what is up for us right now in the biggest way, at least for me, that it's ever been. And I think everything that is going on in the world was designed so that we could have this consciousness, so that we could receive these messages, this one in particular, and the timing. And I'm seeing so many comments that are in agreement. I don't think could have been a better time for us to receive this particular message of grace and forgiveness, and just lightening up on ourselves, because this is what it's all about. So it's okay. It's okay.
Well, I appreciate you starting the conversation last week so that all of this could come through.
Oh, I'm excited. This is like yummy to me.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. I've been pretty harsh on myself lately. So I was like, okay, cool. And I think a lot of us have been. So perfect timing, Deb.
We want to get it right. We want it, and we want to be really good at doing this instead of understanding that we're perfect as we are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of us go, okay, I'm out there, so I really need to be perfect. I need to walk my talk all the time. Well, the truth is, part of walking your talk is allowing yourself to be, and as Terry says, perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
And forgiving ourselves in the process, but going, oops, okay, nope. Let's forgive that part. Let's practice. So I love this practicing grace. I love it.
Yeah. So you're going to really like the next one. It's
good. Okay.
Okay. So letting go of the past, moving forward, allowing the story, your story, to slip away of not being good enough in any of the roles that you've been playing, or anything that brings you feelings of shame or guilt. Wow, just that first sentence is so powerful.
Yes.
You are worthy of so much more than you allow yourself. You don't see the goodness in yourself. It is time to shed all things that are not serving you, so that your confidence in who you are raises, and that no memory, thought, or anything else someone believes about you strips away the joy and truth of who you are. You are my beloved. You are me. You are everything that you want to be. You must cherish who you are, just like you do me, meaning God and Jesus, and the angels. You are one with us as us. No more shall these stories dictate your confidence, only my word. This is being in my will, believing me, God, over all else, over all the stories, over all the ego consciousness. Stop policing yourself and just stay present. I take care of the rest. Know your perfection. I have led you through the darkness and into the light, and that light does not bring shame and guilt because you see it fully. Meaning, as we start to see things about ourselves, then we see a more expansive view. It is because the light is coming and we're seeing those things, it is not to bring shame and guilt. It just is. No judgment, no wishing anymore, I should have done it different. Chapters need to be closed so we can move to the next one. Letting go of things you think need to be moved forward with. Okay, letting go of things that you think need to move forward with you are not necessary anymore. I keep opening doors for you, but don't be afraid when a door closes. It does not change what I promised to bring to you. Today is a new day, a new dawn, and it is time to let go and not bring faulty identities with you. We let go with grace.
You know, that it takes that simple statement of let go and let God, and just, you know, wow, what forgiveness, what release, what permission to move forward with and just leave all the baggage behind. What permission. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's complete permission that we don't give to ourselves. But God's saying, you have this permission because, well, you know, if we start to look at it, none of it's really true, but we hold on to all of it like it's true and that it defines us, this faulty self that we've created. And we've had help creating this. And it's about, this is what the whole journey is getting this faulty identity stripped away so that you keep remembering who you are, your divine nature. And so God's not holding anybody accountable. He's saying, be gentle, have grace for yourself. It's a journey. It's supposed to be fun. But like myself and you and lots of other people on this journey, we do so much policing of ourselves that, and it really takes the fun out of things because you're like on guard, waiting for something to happen all the time, or I have to catch this, I have to catch that, or oh, I should listen to what I just thought. Oh my God, you know, and we're doing this stuff all the time. And he's saying, stop it.
Yeah.
Let go and just know that you're perfect. And if something needs to be changed, he'll take care of it. He'll change it within you. And that's what's happening anyway. We're not transforming ourselves. We're getting transformed from the inside.
Right.
Divine love's transforming us. And sometimes, you know, you think you need to be transformed in a certain way that God wants to keep for some reason, that it's needed for part of your story. And so you can look at yourself and say, well, you know, that needs to go or that needs to go. And you really don't understand what you're saying.
Right. Don't you think too that that's kind of the flip side to ego can be, oh, I need to heal this within me. It's kind of like the egoic subterfuge, if you will, because if I stay locked up into this story, then I'm still keeping this energy going and keeping it going and keeping it going. And it wants to hang on to whatever story it can for as long as it possibly can. And quite honestly, sometimes I think, at least for myself, I get so wrapped up in the story that I can't really see what I need to let go of. And so I love what you're saying. And of course, I know you're going to get into this with the faith in that, but that our higher selves, God, Jesus, they see where we need to go. So if we surrender and say, okay, just, you know, help me to get to my divine perfection. You know, help me.
Mm-hmm.
They will.
And it's happening all the time. There's not a moment of the day where you're not being transformed. Every moment you're a new person. So, but you don't realize that it's happening because it's subtle. Unless sometimes something really, you know, big happens and you go, wow, I just noticed something, a huge shift inside of myself. But we're shifting all the time. And so to let go with love, which is the next one, the power of love. So we're gracefully letting go to the power of love. And this, he says, is the secret ingredient for all of existence. You understand that all that exists is love. However, it is easy to forget that. It is the key, although it is the key for all things. Love is the cure for everything, and it typically is the least looked for when looking for solutions. We want love to be the first line of solutions as things pop up in your day. For each conflict, the question should be, how can I bring love to this situation and go from there? If for some reason you are struggling to bring love in, ask for help. Ask me, Jesus, the angels, to help you connect to love within your heart so that you can bring it forth. It will work every time as long as you allow it to. Love is the first line of defense and offense for that matter. We want you to make this your go-to, and as old habits or defense mechanisms pop up, we want you to bypass them and remember, love is always the answer to all things.
Yeah. We forget that so quickly, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We see something, and the first, at least I do, the first thing I do is I look at the mirror and I go within and I judge myself as to where do I have that within me. And instead of looking at that with love and saying, thank you, I know that this was my journey in this lifetime. Thank you. And loving that part of myself and saying, okay, I know you're here to teach me something. I love you. Thank you. It's my immediate knee jerk is to, I got to get rid of that. I got to heal that. I got to release that. I got to go. And it is that resistance, that rejection that holds it within. And so this is just like, oh my gosh, how simple is love? And yet in my world, oftentimes it's the last thing I go to fix something.
Mm-hmm.
I love this, Deb.
Well, thank you. And that was beautifully said. You know, it is, you know, I can go through the same thing at times and looking for a solution rather than looking, okay, how do I see this as love? And what is the solution through love? And that's allowing really God to show you another perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because I went through the other day, I had this experience of was having a UTI, and it was Memorial Day and the doctors were closed, and this part of me that is worried about suffering, okay, I need to find medicine right now, even though I know nothing's wrong with me on a divine level. But here I am. So I'm bringing love to myself and saying, okay, I need to have medicine for this so it doesn't get worse. And that I was not going to stop until I found somebody to give me medicine. and here comes me talking to one of the health nurses on the telephone and she said, well, you'll have to go to the doctor tomorrow. And I said, no. You have a doctor on call and they will be calling me back. I'm going to have medicine today. So I'm taking dominion over this whole thing. And it's really funny. So this is an aspect of myself. And then she wasn't very happy with me asking that. So I was thinking right away, oh, I'm not going to get a call back. And so I felt all of this stress and struggle over trying to make something happen. I'm looking for a solution. And then I just happened to look on Facebook, and what popped up was a video that I made 3 years ago, like a 1-minute video on peace. And it's telling me, it's saying, the peace is inside. Go inside and get the peace. And I was just like, okay, thank you. Thank you myself for making that 3 years ago. And so I just sat back and I breathed and I said, okay, I know that I am completely cared for. I know that anything I need or really my heartfelt desires are always brought to me. And I can let go of this because I have faith in God that I will get the medicine that I need. And I just let go. But before that, I was doing okay, God, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Because I can't get a doctor, right?
Uh-huh.
And all I heard was wait, just wait. But I went and made this phone call and whatever. And so I just let go of everything. I realized he's in control and I'm gonna let go and it's gonna be okay. And I started doing something else, and probably within an hour and a half, the doctor actually called me and called in some medicine. So it was such a lesson in letting go to the power of love.
Right, right. Because when you are at peace, you're in a state of love.
Mhm.
And I think that is the biggest lesson most of us right now are learning is letting go of control because of the global circumstances. We don't have control over a lot of things that we seemingly had control over before. And so as we move through, and I think this is so valuable right now, Deb, because as we're reintegrating back into society and as we are moving forward, to remember that when we have these encounters with people that may not be of the highest light, to revert back to love, to send them love out, and to know that our highest good is being served at all times. And these are, and also when someone puts something negative towards you out there or gives you a dirty look or whatever it might be, cuts you off in traffic, practice immediate forgiveness and grace. Give it to yourself, give it to them, because I know that when I went out one in an afternoon and people weren't wearing their masks, I couldn't control that. But I have to tell you, there was a really big part of me that was very upset that they weren't being considerate of others. And instead of passing judgment on them, if I would have moved right into the forgiveness and grace and love, that experience would have been completely different.
Mhm. Right.
So, this is such a great reminder for each and every one of us. I can't wait to hear the rest.
Yeah, and really, this is about surrendering. It's
Yeah,
really surrendering to the power of love.
absolutely.
And something as you're talking about this, something that I would do many times, which was really helpful, is when I see something outside of myself and I say, "Oh, that's an aspect of me. That's an aspect of me when I didn't know better,
Right,
when I wasn't awake."
right.
And that there's no wrong or right. It's just like, can I let go of judging that aspect of myself? But
Right.
these are constant reminders because we keep forgetting.
Mhm.
As we awaken, we get sucked back in, like what you're talking about. We
Yeah.
get sucked back in into the story of that this is real. And so the grace that is needed for this journey is immense. And you're only looking at other aspects of yourself at all times. So I can go back into my life and say, oh my gosh, there were plenty of times where I didn't act the way that I thought I should act, or I did something that was unkind. And it's mostly to myself as well as other people. And so it is really, um, this whole subject is just so important to me and helping all of us to just lighten up on ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next one is, I am the light. So God says, you are the light of love. This means that you radiate as a spiritual being. It is like an iridescent or magical mystical light that shines out to the world. Some might call this an aura, but it is much more expansive, similar to the light or rays of the sun. This light conveys a state of being. It shines as love, joy, and peace. Within the light is the divine wisdom, divine truth. The wisdom is encoded in the beautiful light of love, joy, and peace. We want you to refine the way you see yourself as light, not as a light body, but light. You need to see yourself as pure light, just like the sparkles on the water, or even the stars in the sky. It is radiant light. It is my light. It is love energy. Everything you will see, everything as light and become one with it. Eventually, you will see everything as light and become one with it. And it's just, oh my God, like the love of understanding. We don't take in. We say I am. We say I am the light. We say I am God. And so we can understand that on some level intellectually, but we don't know how to embody it yet.
Yes.
That's part of this transformation.
Yes. I love how you said that. And I loved the phrase, and it took me there. I live right here on the river, and at sunsets, and during the day when the sun is shining, it sparkles on the water and it just glistens. And I have been teaching for decades about we are that divine essence, we are that spark of God. But I saw it. It's like your words allowed me and showed me it. And it's not that, it's almost as if something woke up in me and I could just see that sparkle from the river kind of coming out of me. I have God bumps from head to toe and my hair is standing on end. And I would love for everyone to just take a moment and see that. It's like almost like the sunbeams are radiating out of you, and that inside of you and outside of you, you're seeing all of that glistening and radiance, and how spectacular that feels. I've never fully integrated it in the way when you just read that. Did you feel that way when you channeled this and when you heard God say this to you?
Yeah. Most of what he says to me, I want to weep while I'm because it's just so beautiful. And when you're being spoken to, that these are God's words. God is saying, I love you. This is who you are. Embrace it. See yourself as the light. Cut yourself a break. Stop beating yourself over the head because you're not where you're supposed to be. So I am so happy for you. I'm so grateful that you felt this integration. And I feel that often when I do my meditations, and then during the day when I'm in the right mindset, I'm in the right space. Even when I do this show, I feel afterwards, I feel like, oh my gosh, I was just basked in the light the whole time.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting because I know people say light body, and for a long time I've gone back and forth. I've seen myself just as light, and our brain needs to see something because as a human, we need to apply an image or a symbol to everything so that we can understand it. And so we know that the light is invisible. It's just energy. It's just love. And it's a state of being. It's a state, not a feeling. And so at times I will look at myself like my body with light in it and around it. And he's asking me not to do that. He's saying, you are just pure light.
Yeah.
Don't even put the body in there.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it felt like when I was seeing it. It was just like there was no boundary. There was just no boundary at all. And that's very powerful. That is how I'm going to do my meditations. Isn't it funny how you can do this for like decades and then all of a sudden, so if anybody out there thinks that, you're frustrated because you're not further along or this or that or anything else, it's just all so divinely timed and divinely inspired. And it can happen in any moment at all, that just all of a sudden you just have this epiphany and aha moment when you least expect it. And what love. I mean, it's just so perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And it's funny because most of us we'll see the sparkles on the water and we're drawn to it. The same way we're drawn to the stars in the sky. And you're just seeing a reflection of your own self. But you don't realize it.
No, that's the thing. We are, I love what you're talking about today so much because I'm not separate from it. I am that. And as we go through this world, so often, not only do we see each other as separate, but we see the light on the river as being separate. We see the stars in the sky as being separate. And it's not. And I'm just having this huge epiphany. And even though I knew it intellectually, there is a resonance in my soul, in my heart, that feels different right now. I love that.
That's so beautiful. When it clicks, it feels great. Because all we are is, if you look at the light, it's consciousness. It is infinite love. It's energy. It's well-being. It's peace. It's love. It's joy. It is infinite intelligence, creativity. It's so expansive. And so everything is that. We are that. And all you're seeing is a reflection of consciousness outside of you. So it is just so amazing. We have some comments here. And so I thought before I go to the next one, maybe I should read some of them. Somebody's saying trying to implement the knowledge. And that's what we're all trying to do. And it's really making sure that we're implementing the right language. And so I can't speak enough about you going inside and having divine love teach you what your truth is and what your path is about, because it's going to be different than everybody else's, and you're going to have your own truth. So it is important that you're integrating your truth,
right?
And you get help with that.
You do. And I love one of these because Barbara says things always come together when we are supposed to grow. It's like, it happens when it's supposed to happen, when we're ready, and when the timing is right. Just like now, I've never seen that the way I've seen that. And so, yeah, it's so divinely guided and inspired. And when it's supposed to be, it is. That goes along just with what you just said. It's so lovely.
So Kimberly says, I love this. I woke the other morning with a message in my head that was saying surrender to God is not about being a goody two-shoes. It is not. It is about coming to the understanding, the truth, knowing that nothing you can do can separate you from God's love. And when you understand that, Kimberly, that is just so awesome when you get there and you understand it doesn't matter what you do. that you are loved and you're perfection in everything that you do, say, and act, and that nothing is judged. We are the judge. We're the ones judging. And it's learning to have grace for yourself and stop doing that. So what a wonderful thing to understand. And Barbara, what she's saying to somebody, she feels so much better, but we are human. We have all of these human belief systems and the ego consciousness that is always treading, going on while we're going about our day and our business, and the stories that we've grown up with about ourselves in this world. And it is really starting to say, that's not true. I don't need to go there. And when you can't get to that place of not going there and just letting it go is when you bring all of this grace into yourself. And just having grace for, okay, I'm having this human experience and it comes along with all this stuff that feels like it's difficult to deal with, is having grace for your own incarnation.
Love that. I really do love that, because we chose to come here to have this human experience, and we have found ourselves, at least I have at times found ourselves in this place where we're really judging ourselves and not giving ourselves the love and non-judgment for the very thing that we came here to have. So I love all of this today, because it is okay. We chose to come here. We're having the experience. Now let's back off and let's give ourselves forgiveness. Let's give ourselves love. Let's give ourselves grace, because we were supposed to be human. We're supposed to have these experiences. So it's okay. Mm-hmm. God loves us.
Yes. And that there's no shame in being human.
Right.
But when you start looking at it as, I'm a divine being. So this is another thing. This is a spiritual ego. This is another thing that happens, is that when you start, well, I'm a divine being, and like, I shouldn't be having those thoughts, or I shouldn't be acting this way, or I should be here and not there. What you're saying is you have shame for your humanity, and you're saying you have shame for who you are created as, and that there is nothing wrong with you. The whole journey is recognizing there is absolutely nothing wrong with you.
I love that. Yeah.
And accepting the perfection of your complexity.
Right. Mm-hmm. I like how you put that, the perfection of your complexity. I love that. I really love that.
Yeah. So Kim says, so let's say today I were to meet someone and they are just very critical. I always thought that was possibly a reflection of me today, which didn't match. But are you saying it could be a reflection of how I've been in the past, but not necessarily right now? I love your angle.
Yeah.
Yes, you could be seeing another aspect of yourself from the past, of how you beat yourself up. And it's like I've said before, it's like a fun house full of mirrors, this world. And all you're seeing is mirror images of consciousness. And when there was a time that you had more conflict in yourself, or you beat yourself up, or that it may happen now and then, maybe not like it did before, you're just seeing aspects of yourself outside of yourself. Right. And sometimes people don't even realize that's what's going on in their head. When I didn't notice that until I woke up, I didn't realize that I had this policing going on first in a different way. Right. And when I woke up and realized that, like, there was this hypercritical person in my head all the time. And it's still there, but I didn't know there was ego consciousness before I woke up. And so it was very confusing. But yeah, you're only seeing aspects of yourself that keep coming forward to you that believe they still need to be healed.
Right. And we can just give them grace, forgiveness, and love.
Mm-hmm. Because there is only one. There is only you. This is your movie. And there is nothing else but your movie. and you're just, what did, I went through, I'm going to start a new blog too, I think, of, it's growing up with Jesus. And it's my journals with him. And one of them, I just reread because I forget. He said, this is your creative illusion.
I love that.
This is
It
your
is.
creative illusion. And you have been created. So you are not yourself. Self is not real, the faulty self. This is a creation. You are the creation. You are the creator of the creation. And so this is the movie you set out for yourself of, and
you can change your movie anytime.
Mhm.
That's what I love about it. And these tools, these concepts, these thoughts allow us to release the old movie
Mhm.
and have a whole new sequel.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
And what I love about hearing these things from within is that, I can look at stuff all over Facebook and YouTube and read articles, and this person said it should be like this person says it should be like that, or you shouldn't do this is where you need to be. And it's like a reflection of what you think in your own head. And here's God saying, no. None of that is right.
Yeah, yeah.
You are perfect where you are, right in this moment. There is nothing more perfect than where you are in this moment, and loving this moment and liking yourself and enjoying being you.
That is the greatest gift of all. That is such an incredible gift to each and every one of us, to just love ourselves right where we're at, just right where we're at, right in this moment of time. And when you come up against something that you go, not real crazy about that, give yourself love, give yourself forgiveness, give yourself grace, because this is why we're here, to transcend all of this. Yeah.
To transcend the crazy ideas that we have too of what
Yes.
it means to transform.
Right, right. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. Yes, we're right here where we're supposed to be. Life happens for you, not to you, definitely. I feel the light and the innocence. And yes, that's a big one, is accepting our own innocence. We are innocent at all times. This is a movie. It's not real. So when we get into higher consciousness, you understand that there's nothing happening. You're still at home with God. You're still the sparkle. And the sparkle is having a dream.
Yeah, yeah, actually it is. Absolutely. I love that. Yeah.
The sparkle's having a dream. I feel the light and the innocence of animals as well. When I see animals in nature, I see the purity and light of who I am, what they teach us without the ego. I see their light reflecting back at me. That's beautiful. And that's a great way to see light, the divine nature in everything outside of you, knowing that that's a mirror of you too.
Absolutely.
And I love seeing the mirror examples of the old self. This is from Barbara. Seeing my growth, love of other self. It is perfect. It is when you see yourself, you just go, oh my gosh, I have grown so much. I have. And I didn't recognize it until this person or thing stepped in front of me and went, whoa,
Yes.
wow. And I can now bring love to that part of me.
She doesn't know this, but she is one of my mentors. She gives me the gift of walking her talk and living her light. And I love that about her. So she's a friend of mine. Yeah, she's one of my mentors. So Barbara, the cat's out of the bag. You're a mentor.
Thank you, Barbara. Kim says, COVID is a perfect reflection of how people feel differently about any situation in their life. Yeah, everyone has a different opinion, and we just have to offer grace and love. And you think about just within your own self, you have different opinions about everything.
Absolutely.
Even the same topic, you can say, well, I feel this way about it, and I feel this way too, which are completely diverse. So, yes, we are seeing our own diversity outside of ourselves. And when we see it outside, we're like, ew, like, well, I believe that, or I don't like that. To heal the world, you have to embrace the diversity inside your own self and be okay with it. Like what I'm saying is building a bridge of harmony within yourself, that all of these energies, which is still part of the illusion, can coexist through your incarnation. Yeah. So the last part is trust and faith. So it's like, in order to let go of control of things that do not serve us, we connect within to divine love. So that way we can gracefully accept it into ourselves. And this occurs by staying in the light of love and allowing trust and faith in our Creator to take care of all our needs. And that is the meaning of divine alignment. This is what it means to be in alignment, that you are so understanding how well you are cared for and loved and guided and supported, that when you can let go, and we do this incrementally, it doesn't just happen like, okay, I just let go and that's it. We are constantly letting go. So the more that we do this, this is what it means to be in alignment, that you are in alignment with knowing that you can trust your Creator. So God says, I am taking care of all your needs for all things and your heartfelt desires. Mm-hmm. With grace, we are able to let go, to surrender to the power of love, stay in the light, trusting and having faith that all is in divine order. And we remember to do this any time of the day. Do this when you are feeling separate or unhappy for some reason. So this is a tool. This is a tool that we want to integrate into our toolbox, of that we can always return home to joy at any time. And that by understanding this, I don't know if anybody wrote it down, but it's gracefully letting go with the power of love. For in the light, meaning in God, we trust and have faith. That everything is being taken care of, that you no longer have to, you don't have to have a whip making yourself be something that you think you need to be other than what you are.
I must tell you, Deb, this is, in all of my years on this path, you can get so wrapped up in all the teachings and all of the things, but this is so simple in the sentence, but so profound and transformative. And I think that in and of itself is the one of the bigger lessons of this is we make things so complicated. We make things so convoluted, and yet just gracefully letting go with love by staying in the light, trust, and faith. Again, God bumps head to toe, hair standing on end. So simple, so profound. Maybe not always the easiest thing to do because our ego gets in there, but write it on a card, put it everywhere you go, and keep it as a constant reminder, because if you live by this alone, your journey in this life, in this what I call skin suit, will be a blessed one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you are so welcome. I feel so much gratitude to bring it forth. And this shows you how much the intimate relationship is with divine love. And so it is my thing, my purpose, my passion, to get people to listen inside themselves, because I don't know anything more than anybody else does. We are all one. We're just consciousness. And so I just happen to tap into this because it's also part of my story. But it lives inside of you. And the guidance is there, and it's about wanting to show up for it. And part of the struggle is the ego does not want you to show up for it. It will take you outside always, right? It'll have you listen to somebody else than within yourself. And I really would like people to understand that all of this wisdom lives inside of them. There's nothing special about me. Everyone is the same, and we are all our own guru inside. And you have a special journey just for you. And you're going to have your own lessons, your own curriculum, your own truths. And that is what you get in touch with. So, I just decided that I was going to do a master class in June, probably on Enlightened World Network. And it is called Balancing Your Energy, Staying in Vibrational Alignment. And it will be experiential, and it will be taking you to meet your spiritual guides, connecting to divine love, and then teaching you about energy and how to balance your own energy, so that you feel better all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody can see the light within themselves, and you're going to guide them through how to do that.
Yes.
Because that, I think, as much as we hear the words, as much as we know this on one level, you're going to take them into an experiential level of it, because it really, I have to tell you, when you said that about, and I saw the water sparkling, it was, for the first time, it was experiential in a way I'd never had that before. So I'm looking forward to your master class. I think it would be amazing, because I want to have some guidance to go in and reach those places that you're reaching. And this is what I love about this show, because that's, you're talking to God, you're talking to Jesus, and you've unlocked or found that way to go within. And I think that is one of the things that most all of us would love to do, so that we're not out here scattered about and bandied about in the chaos of the world.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. There's no reason for us to be there.
Right. And it's tapping back into the divine, tapping back into that which we are, you know,
and having grace when you fall out of moments.
Yes, I love it. It's like, oh my gosh, I have permission.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what a great show. I'm so happy that you're here. And thank you for starting this in our conversation last week, because look what came through.
Yeah. And you're going to come back on my show again, and we're going to take this even further, and we'll talk about it some more. I love that. I love it. Thank you. And thank you for having me on. This has been absolutely numinous. I loved this. Thank you. I'm so grateful. I really am.
You are very welcome. I'm thankful for Ruth bringing this up and saying, hey, let's try some guest hosts and having some other conversations. So yes.
All the people that were on, this was so cool. You have such a beautiful audience. You really do.
Well, thank you. They're all beautiful people. And I'm just so grateful to show up for everyone Thursday. It's really a privilege. It's a privilege to bring this forth, because I don't want anybody to suffer the way that I did, and that we don't have to. and that to have grace for ourselves and understand the light that we are is my purpose. It's about really, it's about changing your life, that there's more joy and love in it, and purpose and passion, and having that driven from inside.
Well, I have to say this, Deb. I've had you here at the river, and so I've got to feel your energy in person, up close and personal. And you came off of a really, really intensive weekend doing the transformation. So I know you were exhausted. But what I love about you the most is that these conversations that you have with God, the conversations you have with Jesus, this which you are speaking, this which you are channeling, you live it, and you exude grace and compassion and love and caring. And I love that about you, because there are a lot of teachers and have been out there, but you are so genuine and so heartfelt, and you really do live and stay in your authentic voice, and you live this. And I admire that about you so much. And that is a great model for all of us, because sometimes, and I've been known to do it at times, I'll talk the talk, but I don't always walk the walk, and I do try to catch myself. And now I will give myself grace when I get caught in ego. But what I love about you is every time I've been around you, and we've done a lot of things, transformation games and that, you stay in your divine self, and I'm sure you have your moments, but I'm truly grateful. I really am, because you model that for me and many, many people. So what you're bringing is quite a gift to us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, Jeryl Anne. You're very kind and very sweet, and also know that you're seeing a reflection of your beautiful self, and so is everybody watching.
Yes. Thank
Yes, we are all one. So another great show,
you.
and so I want to say we're going to say goodbye for now, knowing that we are one love, protected and held in divine order by our Creator. Go out this day in this awareness and allow God's peace and joy to occupy every thought. Lead with your heart and welcome everyone home, for all are loved.
Beautiful.
Goodbye, everyone. It's been wonderful. See you next Wednesday.
Bye. Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome. God bless everyone.